Apresentamos novidades musicais da Europa. Rádio Moçambique Studios em Maputo a transmitir a emissão C no comprimento de onda de 278 metros. Vamos passar a transmitir o serviço externo, uma programação inteiramente transmitida em língua inglesa. Maputo a transmitir o seu serviço externo em 31, 60 e 92 metros onda curta e em 278 metros onda média. Frequência de 1079 kHz e angulação de frequência em 98.010 kHz.
Radio Maputo, the external service of Radio Mozambique, broadcasting to you on 9620 kHz in the 31 meter band, on 4855 kHz in the 60 meter band, and on 3265 kHz in the 92 meter band. We are also on the air on 1079 kHz on medium wave and on 98010 kHz on FM.
It's 8 o'clock in Maputo. Good evening and welcome to our 1-hour transmission. After the bulletin, in Insight, learn about a killer disease in Africa. That's followed by a selection of Mozambican music and poems from Zimbabwe. First, the news read by Ian Christie. The headlines. Mozambique's readiness for foreign investment is emphasized at Maputo's International Trade Fair. An independent report confirms an improved security situation in the central part of Mozambique. The Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat is due in Tanzania to begin an African tour. Maputo's annual International Trade Fair, FASIM, was officially opened today by the Minister in the Presidency for Economic Affairs, Jacinto Veloso. Mozambique's Minister of Foreign Trade, Joaquim de Carvalho, one of the officials accompanying Mr. Veloso at the opening, says the large number of countries participating in the trade fair is a sign of Mozambique's growing international prestige. In an interview in Mozambique's Noticias newspaper, Mr. Carvalho says more countries are becoming aware of Mozambique's enormous potential and its natural resources in agriculture, industry, geology and tourism. He says the international interest in FASIM is one result of the government's efforts to establish peace and security in southern Africa. This, he says, will create a suitable climate for development, investment and business. He also says more emphasis will be paid this year to attracting direct investment, including joint ventures, than before. Mr. Carvalho says the publication this week of Mozambique's new law on foreign investment was very timely in this regard. This year, the Foreign Trade Ministry's pavilion at the fair will provide a special service for potential investors who want to discuss their projects with members of the Mozambican government. Reports of a vastly improved security situation in central Mozambique since the signing of the Incommati Accord last March have been confirmed by a Western news agency. The road and railway between Zimbabwe and the Mozambican port of Beira are now much safer, according to the head of the French news agency's bureau in Harare, Jean-Michel Stulig. In a report from central Mozambique today, Mr. Stulig said that Zimbabwean businessmen are now travelling along the road to Beira without a military escort. He quoted the director of Beira port as saying there had been no sabotage along the railway line or attacks on trains since the beginning of the year. When South Africa was supporting the MNR armed bandits, attacks on the road and railway were frequent. The French news agency correspondent also reported a better situation on the pipeline that carries oil from Beira port to Zimbabwe, although there were some incidents early in the year. In the city of Beira itself, which last year suffered frequent power cuts because of bandit attacks on electricity lines, there have been no cuts in electricity since January. The French correspondent also reported that, since the Nkomati Accord, travel was much safer around Chimoio, the main town between Beira and the Zimbabwean border. He quoted a tradesman in Chimoio as saying that gunfire could previously be heard around the town every night, but that this was no longer the case. This news comes to you from the external service of Radio Mozambique. The chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization, Yasser Arafat, will arrive in Dar es Salaam tomorrow to begin a 3-day official visit to Tanzania. A Tanzanian government official says President Julius Nyerere will meet the PLO chief at the airport. Tanzania and the PLO enjoy good diplomatic relations, and the movement has a representative in Dar es Salaam. The relationship developed when Tanzania severed diplomatic relations with Israel soon after the 1973 Middle East War. Mr. Arafat will have private talks with Mr. Nyerere, which it is believed will focus on political and economic issues. Mr. Arafat is one of the leaders Mozambique's President Samora Machel met during his visit to Romania this week. During his talks with Yasser Arafat, President Samora praised the efforts made by the PLO. Our correspondent with the presidential delegation says it's likely Mr. Arafat will also visit Mozambique during his African visit. An explosion today rocked the center of the South African city of Johannesburg. Latest reports say 3 members of the railway police were injured in the blast, but nobody was killed and no members of the public were injured. South Africa's capital radio says the explosion took place at a 10-story office block which houses the railway police and a government department which deals with affairs concerning South Africa's coloured population. According to the commissioner of the railway police, extensive damage was caused to a number of floors in the building. Yesterday, an explosion caused serious damage to another government office in Boysons near Johannesburg. The Zimbabwe government has officially deplored violent demonstrations last June in which 11 people were killed and several hundred injured in the central province of Midlands. The demonstrators were government supporters protesting against the murder of several officials of the ruling ZANU party. The murders were committed by dissidents believed to be linked to Joshua Nkomo's ZAPU party, and the protests which followed were directed against ZAPU. However, the Minister of Home Affairs, Enos Chokowore, has now told Parliament that the demonstrations were spontaneous and the government was not involved. Mr. Chikowore was replying to accusations by Joshua Nkomo that top officials had organized the protests and ordered the police not to interfere. Mr. Chikowore said that charges had been drawn up against alleged rioters and that police would be on guard to prevent similar situations arising in future. Helicopters have rescued the entire crew of the Cypriot tanker which caught fire after being hit by a missile south of Iran's Karg Island oil terminal. Earlier today, a military spokesman in Baghdad announced that Iraqi aircraft had attacked and hit an important naval objective south of Karg Island. The report came from the Iraqi news agency INA. The attack is the second reported Iraqi operation against shipping in the Gulf within 24 hours. Maritime sources in Bahrain say a supply ship of unknown nationality was hit south of Karg Island yesterday morning. Now to end the news, here again are the main points. Mozambique's readiness for foreign investment was emphasized as Maputo's annual international trade fair opened its doors today. An independent journalist travels through the central part of Mozambique and reports an improved security situation. The Palestine Liberation Organization leader Yasser Arafat arrives in Dar es Salaam tomorrow for a 3-day visit, the first stop on an African tour. And that's the end of the news. Now, before we move on to this week's edition of Insight, a word about your weekend listening on Radio Maputo. In Bookshelf, presented by Michael Wolfers after the news tomorrow night, Anton Johnston talks about the special qualities of education in Mozambique. And on Sunday night, sociologist Fatima Meir talks about the obstacles in the education system of South Africa. Then we continue our serial version of Ruth First's 117 Days, a classic documentary on solitary confinement in a South African jail. That's on Sunday after the news. The time now in Maputo is 8 minutes past 8.
Japusa tontontoni majambo munzoko tataula babalas katamsumuluko bulako butula kukaunga tiri bakie nuko ni majambo tapusa babalas wadada babula marora ule wadada babula abutula wadada babula fatima wadada babula Japusa tontontoni majambo munzuku takaula babalas takamsumuloko putula puloko kukaunga tiwaket munzuku japusa babalas ya wadada putula putula wo wadada putula Maria wadada putula putula wadada Fatima, wadada putula, putula putula, wadada putula, jawi kumatuli weno, wadada kukaunga tiri, wadada putula putula makwaro raule, wadada putula raule, wadada putula waisikweni weno, wadada Botula, wadada putula, utasawa insi kwene tibu, wadada putula, maraura.
Carla Albertina Malani atalisa moja, katali vauchani, Manuel Mbalani na Fureza Mandati. Mama kwa wali Masimiano Mbalani na prima Sabine Makwakwa, Esperanza Mati, Fatima Bila, Nene, Ruti, Angela na Filipi, lengamekumbaka Bayo Roda Malanga ko tinjomba tivenavo. Mwingisatua inokuranza kali ena Apolinario Jose Makwakwa, tosa sati Sara Samson Sitoi, Alcinda Apolinario Makwakwa, Jose Makwakwa, na Lucinda Mandati, Vicente, José, Feliciano, Gloria, Alda, Rogério na Claudio, Alna Isabel Malaj, Juan Mangano, Bernardo Kay, Domingos, Hilario,
ya kumeka mali hisa u dia se December ximbutsulomo na ku hanyani khwani Ndapa ya Orlando kunika wakazita ali huleni komi kama pozi atakasa vasati Rosalina Mabunda na Joaneta Mfumo Arsenio Orlando Sandra Orlando na Cristóvão Orlando Nambi Luiz Mamos Mario Machava na Emilio Raimundo Espuma awa na velati Njombo kole bairro la huleni Nikulanza nikuna vela ka Arlindo Mateus Mbawani akuma kama pozi atakasati Maria Alberto Mundani vana ali Samuel Mbawani na Angela Mbawani Luiz Mbawani, Samuel Mbawani na Bernardo Mbawani, ambi primo George Mbawani, la kumaka kole kama nyesa, kama lwana ako ngene kukata.
Minha vida na sua passagem não me diga bem o destino da minha viagem, pois que ela na sua mensagem falando de quem está longe de mim e que me faz sofrer. A minha vida na sua passagem não me diga bem o destino da minha viagem, que ela na sua mensagem falando de quem está longe de mim e que me faz sofrer. Leonardo, responde o meu favor, responda-me por favor, não me deixe sofrer assim.
Horas 46 minutos. Impapela mungso inaugurante kalena Joana Bonifácio ale bairro do Fomento Camato. Ala ka sama na Angelina ka thaela le tamukuma provincia la Inhambana. Ala mma kwa ngam kwa tanga Maria João de Deus Bonifácio akana vela shakwata anyela kwa. Julinha Raulina la tazama bizeno akwe Raulina el paso kama vi ale tamukuma bairro de Majangaleni kono kuma pulse ala mna velati Njombo kutera kwatsi nikwa hinkwasho mufambira hengela kutsatisa Muingisadari na xifazenda Miyambo atakusansati Teresa Ngwenzani Vanakulwa bya Joãozinho, Antônio Jorge, Salomina, ni nuna Antônio Mundani. Kwasi kazi ya kona ali Felizarda ngentumbu ningamu inkwaya kumeka uloma kwa maputi. Ambi watini mkwa kazi za liza shipamanini ali awana vela ntirune. Celeste Danzamere tamkuma bayro influele nkoloma kwa maputi. Ataka nuna Samuel akakaweli tamkuma ntiro wa Afrika do Sul. Ambi sovirinha kwa Judith tamna vela tinjombo nimetulone. Tanto sofrimento a Cancumbi, ataka prima di Olinda e Ernesto Mbowa. Vasta Lucas Sitoi, nosso sobrinho com a tremenda Cumbi, Arceli Lucas Cumbi, José Cumbi, Cajica Manuel Alberto, Finias Mguenha, Martins Fidel Castro, Elisa Sitoi, Carlitos Penete, na tapete, da uma chegada como a cole, cancha yako, anyana pai.
Wemkewamiku mtana kuyakanga ngizomshaya mina. Wemkewamiku mtana kuyakanga ngizomshaya mina. Ngizomlimaza mina. Wemkewamiku mtana kuyakanga ngizomshaya mina. Wemkewamiku mtana kuyakanga ngizomshaya mina. Ngizomlimaza mina. Ngoba njalo mangibuye emsebenzini ngimthole Dakiwe. Ngoba njalo mangibuye emsebenzini ngimthole Dakiwe. Ngoba njalo mangibuye emsebenzini ngimthole Dakiwe. Akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami, akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami. Phela ngeke ngimele nentayenzayo. Akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami, akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami. Phela ngeke ngimele nentayenzayo. Akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami, akibuye inkomo zami, akibuye mkhwe wami. Phela ngeke ngimele nentayenzayo. Ngoba njalo
Yama senso kama gashienda kamba shienda huyo. Tanto sofrimento a Cancumbi, ataka prima di Olinda e Ernesto Mbowa, Vasta Lucas Sitoi, Tremendo Cumbi, Arceli Lucas Cumbi, José Cumbi, Cajica Manuel Alberto, Finias Mguenha, Martins Fidel Castro, Machacão, kwa nyani fani. Inansi farando a Mguenha, ataka Judith Nanza, Lydia Checo, David Nteko, Filomena Nteko, Olga Nteko, Rosalina Joaquim Nteko, Americo Mguenha, Utilia Mguenha, Amelia Nteko, Olimpio Nteko, Hermenegildo Olimpio, Fernando Olimpio, na Machacão kumeka ku Byron Davela, ala nyani fani. Luiz Camucamu Ngonyama, tata Pacelina Camucamu, Pedro Eugênio, Ricardo Valente, Carlota Novella, Bernardo Mbulani, Florentino, Jorge, Reginaldo Alberto, Carmino Alberto, Obangamu Mpaka Ngonyama, Leo kumeka ukole kama Nzukani, ni Kampanda, akwanyani kwani. Maria Paula Camanyisa, Tagatava Jali, Elfas Muyanga na Catarina, Vanali Arsenio, Hermenegildo, Crisidônia, Matilde, Raul Muyanga, João Muyanga, Paulo Manyisa, Machalão Kamanga Hulene, Ako, Tinjombo, Tivenavola. Fernando Akamazivila, é muito louco da área serrano, como Kamapuz. Até que vai dar na Paula Mazivila. Ala Tanante, como não lembra como ele viu, a área comunal, e Caninga, Cola Camanyisa. Até que a Lúcia Fernando Mazivila, Lourdes Fernando Mazivila, Florinda José Mazivila, Carlitos Mazivila, Rofina Mazivila, Rosita Mazivila. Mas não como a Cola, a aldeia comunal 3 de fevereiro, a Quinto Bairro, a Cohanhano Pai.
Temos agora a mensagem de Lúcia Andrade Souza Covan, uma falada para o seu marido Fernando Barros e também para os filhos Helena Lúcia, Maria Fernanda, Penina Matsombe, Laurinda Matsombe, Gaspar, Felipe, Salmina, Alberto, Elsa e Amor Covan. Todos em Maputo com votos de uma excelente disposição nesta manhã de sexta-feira. A seguir registramos a mensagem de João André Ndlalane para os seus pais André e Marta André. Também para os tios Mapeco Peco, Jorge, Carmília, Alexandre e Vasco. Para os seus irmãos Lázaro, Milito, Gerson, de Oliveira, Zelinha e vovó Chico Chan. Não esquecendo dos seus avós Rosalina Cital e Francisco Machaei. E também para Amélia Francisco. Do Maputo ainda temos a mensagem de Mafalda José Ndovan para o seu marido José Ndovan, para os seus filhos Penina, Mário e Cipriano. Também para Virgínia, Violeta, Laura e Pedro. Sem se esquecer da sua sogra Ana Mário. Com votos de boa disposição nesta manhã de sexta-feira. Temos a seguir a mensagem de Júlio Irilambo Jauk para o prota residente no bairro de Hulene, Maputo, para a sua esposa Maria Pinto Cital. Também para Budina, Antônio, Rebeca, Celina, Elina e Fernando. Com votos de boa disposição e para os locutores da emissão interprovincial de Portuguesa, votos de um forte abraço. Temos agora a mensagem de Januário Lofarte e Lalinha Bulul. Envia um comboio cheio de felicidades aos familiares e amigos, nomeadamente Alexandre Baltazar em Portugal, Lúcia Micael, Zinho e Sofia também em Portugal, não se esquecendo dos pais e amigos em Maputo com votos de sucessos pela vida fora. Mensagem de Venâncio Antônio Oliveira para os seus irmãos Felizarda, Horácio, Anabela, Gilda e demais família em Maputo, Berta Machacana, Sala 13, com votos de excelente disposição. E para o locutor Mário Muleia, votos de bom trabalho. A seguir, mensagem de Antônio Rafael Monglan, residente em Maputo, bairro 25 de junho, para os seus familiares, nomeadamente Vasco Rafael Monglan, Vitória Francisco Monglan, Beatriz Alberto Macuacua, Eugênio Govan, Aventina Eugênio Govan e também para Elias Francisco Monglan. Todos os residentes de Maputo e Chibuto com votos de muitas felicidades e bom fim de semana. Por último, para fecharmos esta série de mensagens, temos a de Ernesto Fernando para todos os seus colegas e instrutores no Centro Profissional de Inhamissa em Gaza e em particular ao Adriano Simeão, Elisa Jaguala, Joana Mazevila e Violeta, sem se esquecer da Virgínia, com votos de bom trabalho e bom fim de semana. A voz de Eusébio Johan Tamer, composição Cha-Cha, acompanhar esta série de mensagens.
Rumba cha 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 mama no rumba cha 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 kundi sangale kaya kama mani kasugula kundi chinsa cha cha cha. Akutuka kundi senga kama mane kukala kundi chinsa cha cha. Asikuniti kundi wa kundi wa mini chiwono chako nanzi chitika. Aloko kutila wosuka upambo maviki manaruma ya elaseyo. Niza kujanzi nyiki la mundi ni vatongwa na sevuri la inga. Iyo we cha cha cha. Iyo we cha cha cha. Iyo we cha cha cha. Mama no rumba cha cha cha.
Nasceu a grande rifa do ano, a rifa RM 84 com 1634 prémios. A rifa que lhe oferece mobílias, geleiras, viagens motorizadas, máquinas de costura, relógios e tudo o que há de melhor para o seu gosto. Apenas por 100 meticais, compre já o seu bilhete.
Estamos nos momentos finais desta rubrica de ouvinte para ouvinte. Entretanto, temos ainda a mensagem de Alfredo Carlos da Cala para o seu grande amigo Silvio Alberto Chirinza, que amanhã, dia 25 de agosto, completa mais uma edição primavera, com votos de que esta data se repita mais vezes ao longo de muitos anos. João André Lavan para os seus pais André e Marta André, também para os tios Mapeco Peco, Jorge, Carmíbia, Alexandre e Vasco, para os irmãos Lázaro, Nedito, Gerson, de Oliveira, Zelinho e vovô Chico Chan, sem se esquecer dos avós Rosalina Citai e Francisco Macaé, também para a média Francisco, com votos de boa disposição. Mensagem de Januário Loporte e sua esposa Ladinha Bulule. Envia votos de bom fim de semana para os amigos Lina Tembe, Paulo Mavunro, João Dava, Judito Maos, Júlio Murchanga, sem se esquecer dos seus pais, cunhados e familiares residentes no Grande Maputo, com votos de sucessos na vida.
25 de setembro de 1984, kuthangana makumambili amalembe yakulwela siku yakulwela kurula. Maungu ya dina ya emissora interprovincial de Maputo e Gaza, Mursai Filomeno Ntamele. Yo shone, bueno Yo shone, in Quenulani. Womberani, in Quenulani. Womberani, in Quenulani. When you shall have one wampanda way. Abrile, Netizimu, Tanyualani. Abrile, Netizimu, Abrile, Netizimu, Tanyualani. Wombelani, Abrile, Netizimu, Kamapotula. Yoshane, when you Yoshane, when you shall all one loyally. When you shall all one pound away. Bairro do Roen, cooperativa.
When